Have you ever felt that persistent, never-ending voice inside your head? The one that seems to narrate your entire life, filling your mind with a ceaseless stream of thoughts. Maybe you've come to believe that this voice, this constant flow of inner chatter, is who you really are. But what if I told you that behind all those thoughts lies something far more profound? Something that's always present, but rarely noticed. Today, we're going to uncover that hidden part of you, the part that exists beyond thought, a presence that transcends the mental whirlwind we all live in. And by the end of this journey, you will not only understand what spiritual awakening truly feels like, but you'll also grasp the power of living in pure presence. So, stick with me till the end. What you're about to discover has the potential to change the way you experience life forever. For most of us, our minds are constantly swirling with thoughts. Like a whirlwind of worries, plans, judgments, and memories, we are so deeply immersed in this mental noise that we hardly even notice it. But there are rare, fleeting moments when that noise suddenly fades away. Have you ever experienced a moment where everything around you seems to stop and a deep silence fills the space inside? What do you find in that moment of stillness? Perhaps a feeling of peace, or maybe a sense of something far greater than yourself. That moment of silence is where the awakening of consciousness begins. It's like peeking through a window that was once fogged over, a glimpse into a reality that has always been there, waiting for you to notice it. This is the invitation that higher consciousness extends to us, to step out of the maze of thoughts and return to the present moment. It is here in the now that true consciousness reveals itself. But let me ask you something. What happens when you observe your own mind? What do you notice when you take a step back and listen to that voice in your head? Maybe something unsettling begins to surface. The realization that your thoughts seem to arise on their own, like an uncontrollable voice that never stops talking. It narrates your life, judges, compares, plans, and constantly reminds you of who you think you are. But is that voice really you? The truth is, we are not our thoughts. Yet most of us are deeply identified with them. Every time a thought appears, we believe it defines us, shaping our identity and coloring our perception of the world. But think about this for a moment. Are you the one thinking, or are you simply being thought by your thoughts? This realization can be life-changing. The more we identify with our thoughts, the more we build a false sense of self, a mental construct built on past experiences, fears, hopes, and judgments. This false self then takes control, leading us through life like we're trapped in a dream. But here's the thing, by merely observing your thoughts, something magical happens. You create a small distance between you and the constant mental chatter. And in that space, something new arises, a quiet, powerful presence. This presence is the real you. It has always been there, beneath the surface, watching as your mind plays its endless game of stories and judgments. And this is where the journey towards awakening begins, by recognizing that your thoughts are not you, but simply a function of the mind. Once you stop identifying with them, you weaken the false identity they have built. And over time, this practice of conscious observation will lead you to a deeper understanding of your true nature. Imagine for a moment that you're standing at the edge of a vast ocean, watching the waves rise and fall. Each wave is like a thought, constant, powerful, and sometimes overwhelming. But instead of getting caught up in each wave, you simply observe them. They come and go, but you remain the observer, untouched by their movement. This is the essence of higher consciousness, being fully aware of your thoughts without letting them define you. Now let's dive even deeper. What's the difference between thinking and truly being conscious? Many people confuse the two, believing that constant thinking is a sign of consciousness. But in reality, thought is limited. It's shaped by our past, our beliefs, and our conditioning. When we live through thought, we are trapped in a cycle, endlessly replaying the same mental patterns over and over again. It's like living in a loop where the mind controls how we feel, act, and even how we perceive the world. But higher consciousness is different. It's not bound by the past or the future. It simply exists in the now. Imagine you're watching a beautiful sunset. If you're lost in thought, you might say, "Wow, this is a beautiful sunset. I should come here more often." But notice what's happening. You've already moved away from the experience, placing it into a mental box, analyzing and interpreting it. You've missed the full depth of the moment. Now imagine experiencing that same sunset without any thoughts. You simply observe it. You don't label it as beautiful or wish you could see it again. You just experience it. In that stillness, the moment expands and you feel a deep sense of connection, peace, and presence. This is the state of pure awareness where higher consciousness awakens. This shift from thought to presence also transforms our relationships. Think of a time when you looked into the eyes of a small child. Before they develop language, children have a clarity, a purity in their gaze. They are fully present, unburdened by thoughts, judgments, or past experiences. When you look into their eyes, you're not just seeing them, you're experiencing the present moment through them. That's the power of higher consciousness. It strips away the layers of thought and reconnects you with the essence of life. But here's a crucial question. How do we cultivate this awareness in our everyday lives? How do we live in a state of presence instead of being caught up in the relentless flow of thoughts? The answer lies in something deceptively simple: inner space. Inner space is that gap between your thoughts. It's the silent pause that exists between one thought and the next. This space is not empty. It's filled with a quiet, peaceful presence. It's the doorway to higher consciousness, and it's always there, waiting for you to notice it. One of the best ways to create inner space is through stillness and silence. In the busyness of life, we rarely allow ourselves to be still, even for a moment. But in those rare moments of silence, something extraordinary happens. The mind begins to slow down and thoughts lose their grip on you. You can cultivate this inner space through simple practices, like paying attention to your breath. Take a moment right now to focus on your breath. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. Notice how, as you focus on your breathing, your thoughts begin to slow. This is the gateway to presence. Another way to create inner space is by consciously observing your surroundings. When you're walking, instead of letting your mind wander, tune into the sound of your footsteps, the feeling of the breeze against your skin, the colors of the world around you. These moments of pure perception bring you out of thought and into the now. Over time, with practice, these brief moments of inner space begin to expand. They integrate into your daily life until you naturally live from a place of presence. And in this presence, something amazing happens. Clarity arises. You begin to see the world as it really is, without the filters of thought and judgment. This clarity transforms your entire experience of life. Stress no longer has the same hold over you because your mind is no longer amplifying your worries. You react to situations with a calm, clear mind, instead of being driven by automatic thought patterns. You become more present in your relationships, more open, more empathetic, and more genuine. As you deepen your connection with presence, your sense of self begins to change. You realize that you are not your thoughts, emotions, or experiences. You are the awareness that observes them. And this realization brings an incredible sense of freedom. You no longer need to control or define your identity. You simply live fully present, fully aware. This journey of awakening is not a one-time event. It's a series of small steps, small moments of presence that gradually transform the way you experience life. Each moment of awareness plants a seed, and over time, those seeds grow into a deeper, more permanent state of consciousness. So, as we come to the end of this story, remember this: the power of awareness is always within your reach. It doesn't require complicated techniques or profound revelations. It simply asks you to be present. Every time you bring your attention back to the now, you are taking another step toward awakening. And with each step, life becomes richer, deeper, and more peaceful. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this message resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and share it with others who might benefit from this powerful truth. Together, we can awaken to the beauty of life that is always waiting, just beyond the noise of our thoughts.